wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, practice till like 8 o'clock. Then you got that time to shower and eat before 10 a.m. class. Kind of go to class from 10 to 2, then practice again from 3 to 4, 3 to 5. And then you kind of got that 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock window to just focus on school or focus on your friends. And I think if I wasn't rowing, I would have too much free time on my hands and I'd kind of maybe procrastinate a little too much than I already do.
My name is Jim Granger. I'm the men's varsity head coach at Florida Tech, and this is my 14th year.
My name is Ben Kamada. I am a junior coxswain on the men's rowing team here at Florida Tech. My major is ocean engineering with a focus in coastal engineering. I want to do dredging, beach restoration, and things like that.
Gennaro Zapparello. I'm a junior studying mechanical engineering and I'm on the men's rowing team.
Yeah, so I'm Thomas Francis. I'm a sophomore here studying electrical engineering, and I'm out from St. Louis, Missouri.
I started rowing junior in high school, so that would have been spring 1990, and walked on at Boston University, rowed there for 4 years, and came back after Boston to my old high school, Thomas Jefferson in Northern Virginia, and was an assistant coach for a couple of years. Then I got my squad, my own squad, my freshman squad, and we had a lot of fun, did that for a couple of years, and then I became the varsity head coach and did that for 5 years. So, and had a wonderful group of athletes over those years, and we did a lot of great things. And then I got the opportunity to come down here.
I have been in the sport of rowing for 3 years now. I was a walk-on my freshman year, a walk-on rower. Then my back decided to break, and here I am, third year, I'm a coxswain.
I've been involved now for about 7 years. It'll be 7 years this spring.
Rowing, I started 7th grade, so this would be my 8th year.
Like athletically,
Right.
what was my outlets?
What were your interests before rowing?
I played a lot of basketball. I played a little bit of football, and I think I did like tennis, a little bit of lacrosse.
Before I rowed, I swam competitively for 13 years.
Before rowing, I played basketball and baseball. 2 sports that have no correlation to rowing at all.
I pretty much tried out every sport that was available to me. Eventually, after trying all those sports, I could move on then to rowing.
Yeah, before the internet, nobody really, you couldn't go online to figure out what the sport was. And a lot of my friends were going to do it, and they talked me into trying it. And the team was a complete startup, and our equipment was donated to us from local high schools. I think T.C. Williams either donated 2 weights or just, we did not pay very much money for them. But it was a startup program, and everything was new, and everybody was kind of getting into it at the same time. So, and then I think like a lot of people in the sport, once you get in, it sort of gets its hooks in you.
I got into rowing because I lost a bet my freshman year in high school. I had aspirations of being on the freshman basketball team, and my dad said, if you don't make the basketball team, then you have to row. So I took him up on that, thinking, all right, yeah, I'm going to make the basketball team. And obviously I didn't, because I'm rowing.
When I was coaching at the high school, I was still working full-time in pharmacy, and I felt like when I was on the water, it was where I was supposed to be. And when I was at the pharmacy, I was thinking more about what we were going to be doing in practice. And it just sort of seemed that this was what I wanted to do. And I had an opportunity for my kind of hobby, to be my full-time occupation when I came to FIT. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. We'll see what happens with this. So I jumped in full bore, and here we are.
I stayed in the sport of rowing just because the competition, the effort level during practices, but the main reason is my teammates.
There was a sense of community that I felt that I had never experienced before in any other sport that I've participated in. As I said, I played basketball and baseball before, and those are team sports, but you can kind of play hero ball in both of those sports. It kind of takes, you can have one guy kind of control the whole outcome of a single with rowing, you need everybody to kind of be on the same page. There's no Superman in a race, and that kind of really hit home with me.
In rowing, in all honesty, it's just the team aspect. None of these other sports that I tried, the team is never as bonded as it is in rowing. Everyone in rowing, you're constantly just right next to the other guys. You're constantly grouped up. You're constantly talking. You're constantly working out together. I just never found anything like that in these other sports to the limit that rowing goes.
I mean, there's a lot of phenomenal people involved in this sport at every level. You know, whether it's the coaches that are volunteering a couple hours of their week, you know, just to come down and teach middle school or freshman kids, you know, kids that have, you know, their first experiences, their first chance to really see what the sport is about, the introduction to it. You know, those people are awesome. And if the kids have a great experience, it usually means they're going to come back and they're going to, you know, go far in the sport, as far as they can go. At the college level, you build up great friendships. You have a lot of respect for other coaches and also the kids that you coach. I mean, you've rowed for me. You've been around this team. You know that by and large, we have really good people, you know, associated with us, and you know, those are going to be lifelong connections that you have. So it's yeah, it means a lot. So I guess that's how I look at it. But you know, it's a bit of a human factor.
The rowing community as a whole is a perfect blend between competition and respect. I think a great example of that is a 2K. From the very start, guys are pushing extremely hard, racing against their competition, the other boat, but then as soon as you cross that finish line, guys in your boat are congratulating the guys on the other team, and the guys on the other team are congratulating us, and I think that's just a perfect example.
The rowing community is pretty unique. Everybody kind of has this understanding of what the sport is and kind of this shared experience of like pain. There's some intangibles that everybody has that kind of distinguish. You can tell when somebody's a rower.
I always tell people that, you know, I like the teams a little bit goofy that don't take themselves too seriously but take the sport very seriously. Committed, you know, people that are open-minded. You never want to think you've learned everything there is to know about it. You got to really be able to suppress the ego a little bit, and you got to really work within a team dynamic. It's okay to be confident. It's okay to be sure of yourself, and you know you like that, but you just don't want to get to the point where you're placing yourself, you know, above the needs of this crew.
It's actually funny you asked this because I was giving a tour last week to a girl rower who was thinking about joining the team when she enrolls here. And the mom asked me the same question. She said, how do you feel about the rowing team here as a community and a family? And I told her that I went to a high school team that had over 60 plus kids on it. And once I was a senior, I rarely knew the freshmen. I barely even knew them by name. And here we have 20 plus, and I know literally everybody by their name. I'm like good friends with everybody too. So just having that sort of bond with each single person on the team, like really goes a long way. And when you're in the boat with those guys, you're really pulling for each other, and there's more like, I guess like personability, or you don't want to let them down too, which is, I appreciate a lot.
Florida Tech team, basically everything I've said taken to the extreme. It's just a group of super funny guys, hilarious, always a pleasure to be around with. Besides the bad apple part, there are no bad apples really. I enjoy everyone on this team, to some amount at least, but it's great. I love it here. I really do.
If I was going to say one must-have characteristic, it would be desire. And that can apply to a bunch of different things, but desire to get better every single day, a desire to better yourself as a teammate, a desire to become faster both individually and in your boat. So the word desire really just encompasses all of the must-have characteristics.
Most important characteristic is definitely coachability, in my opinion. Just the ability to be able to take criticism both from the coaches and from your teammates and kind of not get down on it or think you're better than somebody else, and just kind of apply that, because maybe you can learn something from everybody.
Rowing really has a high correlation to reward the amount of work that you put into it. And it is a fitness thing, it is a technique, driven sport, but at the end of the day, if you put the work in, you have an opportunity to, be where you want to be at the end of the season. So, I like kids that are goal focused, that are future focused, that can say, at this point I'm here, next week I want to be here, next month I want to be here, next year I want to be here, and in 4 years I want to be here. And people that can kind of lock in that plan for themselves and know that we're going to have a little bit of variance in how we make those steps, but that plan is guiding them, all the way through. I think that's the right mindset to have for something like this.
But if you don't have that inner dog inside of you to just put your head down and work, then you're not going to succeed.
Who's my 8 a.m.s this morning? Just Vasily? Nobody else? Okay, good. All right. No lab this week, Bert? What's up? Don't you have lab today? Yeah.
No, I don't have a lab today.
I thought it was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
It's holiday week.
Well, today's Friday, so
Oh, yeah, shit. I don't even know what day it is. All right, sweet.
I personally am very routine driven, and I like the habit of waking up early, driving to the boathouse, getting practice done, and I find that when I don't have that routine with practice, I actually do worse in school too. Like, the routine drives me to have to play my time out better, and when I have that schedule, wake up at 6, leave the house at 6:10, start practice at 6:30, get back at 8:15, then I plan my day out so much better. So the routine really helps me excel as both an athlete and a student.
For a lot of the people, the opportunity to be a part of something, where you're with 25, 30, 35 other people that think like-minded, that are really passionate about something, and they have individual plans and a group plan of how to improve themselves and the team. That's a tremendous life lesson. And learning to compete at this level is another tremendous life lesson. And so, and whatever the field that you're going to be entering in, the next phase of life, the steps that people learn here to prepare themselves, to anticipate what they're going to need to be able to do, all that stuff will pay dividends.
Besides kind of what I talked about earlier with the opportunities to have great teammates and compete and things like that, you also have the opportunity to travel. I've gotten to go to some pretty cool places: Tennessee, Georgia. I know guys traveled to California, up to New Jersey. Getting those experiences to travel with your teammates is actually really awesome. You can form a lot of memories.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think the biggest opportunities that came out of being a member of the men's rowing team is definitely in the friendships. I talk to a lot of the people that go to colleges, or especially my friends that go to other universities, and they don't have this close-knit family that they can talk to or kind of rely on, or rest upon if they have a challenge or something like that. And having 20 plus guys that you can rely on for pretty much anything, guys that would drop whatever they're doing to come help you, and if you had a situation, that really goes a long way. I know that a lot of these guys here are friends for life, and there's somebody that I could 20 years down the road give them a call and we could pick up like we just talked the day before.
Yeah, so the opportunities that I've already gotten with rowing is getting into this incredible school, really, and just being a better version of myself, I guess, and using rowing to improve myself. Because I used to be a super big introvert. I literally wouldn't talk to anyone besides maybe my 2 best friends. And being next to all these guys in the boat, it forces me to open up, and that's really improved my life tenfold. Because before I would do a presentation in high school, I'd be twiddling my fingers, I couldn't even manage. Now I'm doing a presentation in front of 50 students in college, and it feels natural. It feels better, I guess.
Well, I think for any student athlete, but with rowing especially, the attribute of work ethic is something that all the guys on the team can take away. It just shows that the more work you put into something, the more benefits you're going to get out of it. And I think that can be applied to life, in your families, in your job. But the more work and effort you're willing to put in, the greater benefits you're going to reap at the end.
Do you recognize how unique it is to be in this situation where you're training at this level and you have this like brotherhood around you?
Yeah, I recognize that this is definitely one of like the best points of my life, because when I was a high school senior, I was taking my last strokes at the last race and kind of had this idea in my head that my athletic career was over. And over the summer, I talked to Coach Granger, and he kind of rekindled my passion for rowing and competing. And I recognize now, especially 2 years ago as a freshman, when I was one of the only freshmen in the second varsity 8, I knew that feeling that I had last year, the year before as a senior, and kind of feeling that I wish I could have worked harder to get, another 4 minutes and 30 seconds with the guys. So I kind of took that idea as a freshman in college, kind of just didn't want to let the senior guys down, because I wanted to pull for them, because I didn't want them to feel bad about maybe not going as hard enough. And that's kind of what I've been applying this year too, is just that I want to set myself up so that, this spring and next season I can go as fast as possible, and kind of inspire all the guys below me too, to kind of keep that mantra going.
I've recently been reflecting on how my time is eventually going to come to an end, and how different it's going to be to lose out on experiences with my teammates, lose out on the experience of competing. So I think if I'm allowed to give any advice, that my advice to people joining the team is cherish the moments that you get to experience.
I think the biggest takeaway that I could take from rowing into my personal life and or professional life would just be communication. There's kind of this saying that I live by that kind of goes, 100% of frustrations are caused by unmet expectations. And kind of having those communication skills that I've taken from rowing, being able to communicate with the guys in the boat, say, hey, what's wrong? What can we do? Make us a little bit faster, 1 second faster. Kind of all being on the same page. Taking that into my work career, taking that into my personal life with my family and my friends. It's definitely something that is really applicable, and obviously can help pretty much everybody.
If I had a piece of advice for someone just walking on, didn't really know what was going on, I'd say, no matter what happens, at least do it for one season. Just one season. See the team aspect, see how everything plays out. And I'll be honest, when I started the sport, I didn't love it. I didn't know the people. I didn't really understand what was going on. But as time goes on, everything fits into place. Everything starts coming together. You make friends on the team. And when you really, with rowing, the friendship aspect is so important to the drive of everyone on this team. And it's awesome.
In terms of what should I not forget, like if he's joining, this individual's going to join the team and stay for 4 years, what should I not forget along the way? I think, having the courage to get off your couch in your dorm room to come out and check us out, and just seeing, the two type of people that we have, and the kind of work we're going to do, and the kind of experiences you're going to have. I think that first step is everything. Don't forget the moment that you put yourself out there to really try something new and be part of something different. So, because again, that's another life lesson.
Yeah, that's huge. To at least for me, to have stepped into rowing, which was so bizarre, and for it to give so much back.
Yeah, one of my former rowers from a long time ago is very fond of saying, I think it's like something like 95% of success is just showing up. And that sometimes is the hardest part for people to really branch out and try something new, put themselves out there.
Well, as a walk-on myself, I think coming in with an open mind was the key for me. Coming in knowing that I don't know a single thing about the sport, that I just want to learn every single day, and that there's guys on this team who have rowed for 10 years plus, that they have a lot of experience, and I want to learn everything that I can. So just wanting to learn and being prepared to know that you're going to be the worst on the team, and being okay with that and accepting that fact, but knowing that the harder you work, the more you're going to progress up through the team, and the better you're going to be able to contribute to the team itself.
I'd say if somebody was hesitant about joining a team, say just take the jump, man. You know, if you join the team, you're gonna be with a bunch of guys that obviously care and are passionate about something. You know, we've had plenty of walk-ons on the team who have succeeded here in our program. It's not uncommon for people to be walk-ons too and be successful. You'd be joining a great group of guys, really close knit, and you'll be in the best shape of your life, man.